458 cycles ago, assembled in the Nebula Primal factory, a relentless and emotionless hunter was born. Devoid of empathy for her prey, and equipped with a state-of-the-art transformable skeleton, Ginebra stands elite among the 5th Council's hunter unit, tasked with tracking and eliminating malfunctioning soldiers, stopping at nothing until her claws meet flesh and bone. What's going on, everybody? This is your host Sasuke, and today we're going to be talking about Ginebra, a raider who still serves testament to the versatile and dynamic rogues gallery that makes up Herrick's crew. Bringing to the forefront mobility, precision, and stealth, Ginebra's unique ability allows her to take the form of a cybernetic feline capable of bounding the map in seconds. While in this transformed state, Ginebra's stress will never rise, but as a result, her health pool is reduced by 40%. Her feline form offers her unique accessibility to otherwise difficult to reach spots, and allows her to strike from varying vantage points and flanks. While it may seem that the reduced health pool comes with risks, careful battlefield navigation will allow her to get behind enemy lines and strike from the shadows. Due to the 5th Council's heavy armor, however, Ginebra will move at a much slower pace when not transformed, so careful consideration of where and when you transform will determine the success of your encounters. Ginebra also has a 1-second transition time when coming out of her feline form, leaving her completely vulnerable to a number of attacks. Also keep in mind that if she's damaged significantly while transformed, she'll be immediately knocked out of the mobile variant and left exposed, so stay wary of your exposure. Ginebra's arsenal takes the form of various hunter crossbows, each with a unique twist in their function. Her first and immediately accessible gun is the S-Bogan, a relatively straightforward crossbow that applies a push effect when its tension meter is full. The strength of this weapon comes from your ability to knock enemies into each other or objects, which will then amplify the amount of damage you apply. Her weapon is also capable of penetrating shields and even knocking back opponents like Lycus. Fuck! Her second choice is the Schluter, an intricate ricochet-based crossbow that fires kinetic bolts capable of gaining momentum based on the number of objects they make contact with. This weapon can lead to some of the most interesting and dynamic gameplay moments, challenging the player to think outside of the box to take advantage of its unique ability. The most common and immediate use for decent damage is to bounce a shot directly off the floor and into an enemy, but really try and explore the various angles it can find, as well as how to apply it to mission scenarios that require a precise solution. The third item on the menu is the Javelin, which has a slow rate of fire, but a higher damage output at long distances. The greater the bolt distance traveled, the higher the damage amplification. This bow variant also runs off weapon tension and applies greater damage and knockback effect the longer the tension is held. Her final weapon is the J-Wheel, a bizarre and quite frankly hilarious addition to her armory, which launches battery-powered electrical discs, which apply an immediate knockback that sends a target either left or right depending on your weapon fire mode. This weapon, like the Schluter, rewards creative thinking and can take advantage of clustered enemies, cover hungry opponents, or elites trying to rush you or make a quick getaway. This weapon, like the others, runs on tension, so stay mindful of your damage potential by firing sparingly. Ginebra's cards vary from transformation movement speed and durability while in feline state to the tension build speeds of her crossbows. I personally like to use positive dynamic feedback for her faction card, which causes her shots to do an additional 50% damage within 3 seconds of a kill, maxing out at 100% damage with 5 stacks. I tend to use this one as an antagonist because the damage amplification makes up for the tension I may have lost while firing an opening shot at a raider. This method still applies to the raider side of the things as well, allowing for consistent damage output in combat. For Ginebra's character card, I like to roll hollow ammunition, which increases the flight speed of projectiles by 35% at base and 100% at 5 stacks. Faster bolt speed basically means you can count on your projectiles landing where you're aiming and don't have to lead off targets by much. The Javelin still fires relatively slow with this card, but the change is more noticeable at 5 stacks. Alloy Cordage is also a good pick for her as a character card, when using tension-based weapons, and I tend to favor it when using weapons like the J-Wheel. Is one of the most feared raiders in the game, and can be a real pain in the ass on both sides of a fight. As a raider, her evasive abilities make her a pain to track down and finish off during the emergency phase of the fight, while also having to cause the antagonist to move up and make their advancements slowly to avoid stray Schluter bolts that might be bouncing around the map. As an antagonist, her ability to be anywhere and ready to snipe you when you least expect it can lead raiders to a constant state of caution. When facing off against the Ginebra antagonist, it's best to try approaching from the air. Hitting a target out of the air will prove much more difficult for her, and draw her attention to the sky while other raiders move in for the kill on the ground. Hans, Alicia, and even Schneider have aerial damage capabilities that can punish a transforming Ginebra or even take her out of her mobile form. Other counters exist, such as Shay's Bewitch ability, which can put her in a more defensive state, or a Stalking Herrick, which will make her choose her fights more carefully. Ultimately, Ginebra's crowd capabilities, high mobility, survivability, and dynamic weapon choices make her a strong pick for more experienced raiders, and she proves useful in nearly any situation. That's gonna do it for this video now, guys, but if you want more Spacelords, try checking out my video playlists on the channel. And as always, I'll see you all on the Broken Planet.